The American outlet Axios has published the full text of the U.S. administration's draft plan to end the war in Ukraine. Although Axios describes the document as a draft, both Ukrainian and U.S. officials have confirmed its authenticity. The plan consists of 28 points. The proposal reaffirms Ukraine's sovereignty. It envisions Ukraine, Russia, and European states signing a non-aggression pact. Russia would commit to not invading other countries, while NATO would agree not to expand further east. Ukraine would amend its constitution to renounce joining NATO, and NATO would formally state that it will not accept Ukraine as a member. However, Ukraine's right to join the European Union would remain intact. The plan requires Ukraine to reduce the size of its armed forces from the current 800,000 to 850,000 to about 600,000. NATO, in turn, would pledge not to station troops on Ukrainian territory. The United States would effectively recognize Crimea, Luhansk, and Donetsk as parts of Russia. The front line and the Kherson and Zaporizhia regions would be frozen, meaning those territories would be effectively split between Ukraine and Russia. Russia would return the areas it has seized in the Sumy and Kharkiv regions, while Ukraine would withdraw troops from parts of Donetsk, turning those areas into a demilitarized buffer zone. Ukraine would receive credible security guarantees, though the main text does not specify their exact form. According to Axios, a supplementary document outlines these guarantees, modeled on NATO's Article 5. An attack on Ukraine would be treated as an attack on a NATO member, triggering a coordinated military response. The guarantees would last for 10 years and could be extended. Russia would legally commit to not attacking Ukraine or Europe. If Russia invades Ukraine again, a coordinated military response would follow, global sanctions would be reinstated, and the entire agreement would be voided. If Ukraine attacks Russia or fires missiles at Moscow or St. Petersburg, its security guarantees would be revoked. The plan also outlines Russia's reintegration into the global economy. Sanctions would be lifted step by step. The U.S. and Russia would sign an economic cooperation agreement, and Russia would be invited to return to the G8. $100 billion of Russia's frozen assets would be invested in Ukraine's reconstruction, with the U.S. receiving 50% of the profits. Europe would contribute another $100 billion. The remaining Russian assets would fund U.S.-Russia joint projects. Both Russia and Ukraine would commit to introducing educational programs promoting cultural tolerance. Ukraine would adopt European standards on religious freedom and minority language rights. Both sides would guarantee access to media and education in both Russian and Ukrainian, and ban Nazi ideology. 100 days after the agreement is signed, Ukraine would hold elections. Compliance with the deal would be overseen by a peace council, chaired by U.S. President Donald Trump. According to the Financial Times, Washington hopes President Volodymyr Zelensky will sign the agreement by Thanksgiving, though Ukrainian officials say this is unlikely. Kyiv is currently working on amendments to several points. Late on November 21, Zelensky met with a delegation led by U.S. Army Secretary Daniel Driscoll. After the meeting, Zelensky stated that he had outlined Ukraine's core principles and agreed to continue working with the U.S. Amid reports that the U.S. is pressuring Ukraine to accept the peace plan, Zelensky addressed the nation on the evening of November 21. "We are living through one of the hardest moments in our history. Ukraine is facing a very difficult choice, losing our dignity or losing our key partner, or accepting all 28 points. A harsh winter and new dangers lie ahead. We are being asked to trust those who attacked us twice, and we are expected to respond. We remain calm, but we are also working quickly with the U.S. and our partners to ensure the enemy cannot claim Ukraine does not want peace," Zelensky said. He concluded by saying that Ukraine will not abandon diplomacy, but its national interests must be respected.